Hey guys, Uncle Perv here. I am waiting on my car to get cleaned, and so I figured I'd make a really quick video about something that I've been seeing a lot. Like even just today, I've seen a couple of posts about it where people are confused about something that is really simple when you understand it, but it can be complex to get to the point where you understand it. So this is going to be I'm going to redo this video later. I just wanted to get this information out here. This is going to be the beginning of a series that I'm going to do called PE for Dummies. Between myself and Hink and Beatty, we can be a bunch of sciencey, technically, you know, over technically nerds. Really, we can. And so the goal of this series, PE for Dummies, is going to be for me to take all of that stuff and distill it into plain English for you guys. So the thing that I want to talk about today is fatigue and strain and how you go about figuring those things out and what the hell they are in the first place. Okay, so I'm going to explain fatigue first because strain is just the exact same thing, but while you're in a device or while you're hanging. Okay, firstly, all of these measurements are done bone pressed. So this is your BPSFL, or your bone pressed stretched flaccid length, okay? You will take a ruler, press it into your pubic bone as hard as you can. Then you're gonna take your hand, grab just below the glands or on the glands, and stretch out as far as you can. So see what your maximum bone press stretched flaccid length is. The only way to be consistent with this is to push as hard as you can with the ruler and to pull as hard as you can with your hand. Pro tip, if you are having difficulty getting a good grip, tear off a little strip of paper towel or toilet tissue and use that to help you to sort of get a grip. That will definitely help you to be more consistent in your measurements. Make sure you're standing straight up. I sometimes will stand up against a wall. Make sure that you're not leaning over. Don't lean over, because if you lean over, then that's going to adjust the ruler and it's going to give you a false measurement. Whatever you do, however you choose to measure, just do it consistently. But I will tell you, standing up, squeezing your butt, locking your knees out, standing as tall as possible, that's going to give you the best measurement that you can possibly get. So, take your bone press stretched flaccid length. We're going to use, because I'm an idiot, 100 millimeters. I find the metric system to be much easier to do PE in. So we're going to do it that way. Okay. So we're going to say that you are 100 millimeters before your session. Now let's say that you go into your trusty dusty apex extender for about 60 minutes at 6 or 7 pounds. Let's say that you are relatively new, you're still getting really great results from 6 or 7 pounds. And let's say that after your session, you come out, you redo your bone press stretch flaccid length, okay? You remeasure, same as you did beforehand. Only this time, your bone press stretch flaccid length is 105 millimeters. Congratulations. You gained 5 millimeters. Now, this is not permanent. This is a temporary elongation, but the more that we cause this elongation, the more cemented it will become, the more it will become a stimulus for our body to create new tissue in that area. So, before your session, you were 100 millimeters. After your session, you are 105 millimeters. What you are going to do to calculate your fatigue is you will take the bigger of the two numbers, and that should always be your post-session. You should never end up smaller after you use, a device or hang or anything like that. You're going to take the larger number and you are going to divide it by the smaller number. So we're going to take 105 and divide it by 100. Now, in this case, the number that you're going to pop up with on your calculator is going to be 1.05. So all you do is you end up moving the decimal place over. And in this case, it's really easy to understand because 1.05 just means 105% of your original starting length, or 5% elongation. So the fatigue in this example, you gained 5%. So 5% is well within what we're trying to hit. The goal is we're trying to be above 2%, but really below 8%. And honestly, I normally sort of try to stay between 2 to 6%, because the closer you get to 8%, the more you are running into, you might be able to do that once or twice, but you're going to eventually run into the issue of like, that is a lot of damage for your body to try to heal. It's a lot of stress for your body to try and overcome. So I typically see my best results between 2 and 4% personally, but I will say that going up to 6% is perfectly fine. Okay, so strain is the exact same thing, only strain is measured when you are in a device, when you're hanging, or I mean, it's really easy to calculate in the apex, because in the apex you just stick a ruler in there and you measure at the beginning of your session, and then you measure, throughout your session, and you see what kind of strain you've gotten. So if you put 10 pounds on at first, and then by the end of the session you are 5 millimeters longer, and you're starting out at 100, again, we'll use those exact same numbers, then that's 5%. Now again, strain is sort of the same thing. You don't want to go anywhere close to 8%. Personally, I don't even bother calculating strain. It's not necessary. Strain is like a predicting factor. But if you just check your fatigue, if your fatigue is correct, if you're getting above 2% but less than 8%, then you know that you hit what you needed to in the actual device. So it's not really necessary to do. It can be helpful for some people who are just like really meticulous about their training, which I commend you for doing that. But it is unnecessary, and the longer that you go on, the more that you'll just sort of know like where you need to be in terms of weight and everything. So to summarize, fatigue is calculated by dividing your post-session bone press stretch flaccid length by your pre-session bone press stretched flaccid length. So you take the big number and you divide it by the little number, and that will give you a number that starts with 1. It'll be like 1.03, 1.05, and you're not always going to get something even either. Sometimes it'll be like 1.375 or something like that, and that means that you got 3.75%. So I hope that clears this up. I am going to do this video again when I'm not outside of a freaking car dealership. So yeah, I hope this is helpful though.